I'm just tapping in with a quick video, and I'm just this is for the purpose of learning and living, but also like recognizing different things. And so like a lot of times people don't know what they're saying when they're saying something. So like I pointed out that I picked up from Tashik Bey that when you say dollar bill, that's an oxymoron on the surface because a dollar is actual money, and then a bill is like a levy or a note or like a writ, like some kind of demand normally upon money, or so it's like a demand to draw. So it's like a negative ledger, a negative credit would be a bill, but then a dollar would actually be a positive unit of money, a member of money. But also a lot of times people say, take care, have a good night, guys. You guys get home safe now. Um, um, stay safe, y'all. Um, uh, um, but be careful now. Be careful, y'all. Have a good night, y'all. Be careful now. So a lot of times, like if you ever grew up around something street or people that are like that, just like a lot of times like some things will be real or not, but people will do the same thing whether they're real or not. So like in high school, like for young people, a lot of times people exactly dap each other up. So like you have like your general dap, right? So you have like a little fist bump or a handshake, and it's real. It's some real shit. Someone's not gonna give you a fake fist bump or a fake handshake, because if anything, most people are like, man, get the fuck out of my face. At least it's like sometimes people say like what up, boss? Like they say oh yeah, that's all you, boss. Normally people don't call you boss unless they actually have a reason to respect you, and because they're not giving you that same boss look like that. Even if you're on bullshit or you're not actually, if they're not rocking with you, they're not gonna call you boss. And most people won't, they won't give you a pound or a handshake if they're really not rocking with you. But they may if they're a little bit rocking with you, and you won't really get called to the carpet for giving someone a handshake or a fist bump. Now, like I recently started becoming a motorcycle driver this summer, and a lot of times, like motorcycle driver, just for anyone who don't know, they'll put their fingers like that. That means like two wheels. So that's solidarity between all people that ride on two wheels is what that means. But you can rock with that, and a lot of people would that's some real stuff right there. Like you wouldn't be able to get that back unless you were something of real, or you would appear something like real, but you're not really getting called out to the carpet for any of those. But if you do something like you actually you throw something that actually has like that's organized and practiced upon a real affinity or affiliation with something, and that's a higher level of DAP, but it's still DAP like that. So whenever you DAP someone, you're portraying membership as a solidarity. So that's a sum that's greater than any of its parts. That's what you're suggesting. So if you give someone a handshake, you're saying this is respect. The respect of men is part of, but bigger than any particular man. That's what you're saying, or people, set of people. Respect between people is greater than any particular individual or set of peoples. Is the respect between people is deeper. So that's what you're saying with a handshake, a fist bump, the two wheel sign for motorcycle riders, and then if you had something more of that would actually be nuanced to an actual distinct group set of people of any background. So those are like your DAPs. A greeting from so a greeting is similar to like a DAP or a salute. All those can be like different forms of salute, but they refer to in-group inclusion, in-group membership. That's what that refers to. But a lot of times people don't know that their ass is in a gang. So like so real life, your real gangsters, like according to King Noble, in the United States, a lot of your three-letter organizations are the real people acting like gangsters, because they're the real ones that they conceal their identity. Probably that's one of the strong suits. I think that what has a lot of people afraid of law enforcement and in general, law enforcement is not necessarily in itself more formidable than somebody on a street level organization, or just on the street, an ordinary civilian and or member of something different than the sanctioned armed services, up to and including the police and military. They're an average member of any side of anything, civilian, military, street, law enforcement, is not more or less formidable than another one. But law enforcement is a little bit more organized than most people, and law enforcement has broader access to broader membership that would be concealed. So what's significant is the organization and the anonymity that would give a person pause, because you're involved in this, you're designated as this, you're recognized as this bogus actor according to the state sanctioned authorities. They can put any member of the state after you. They have your identity. They could also put any member of anything after you. So anyone that's sturdy, or that anyone that's formidable, but also has the advantage of anonymity, it would be a problem for anyone that's recognized as anything, whether legal or street or whatnot. So I'm just simply pointing out that a lot of things actually function like what you would call like a gang, even ordinary people. So you have the status quo. That's like people that are, so you have a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm a downtown area. You got a lot of businesses, different stuff. But in order to have a job at any one of these businesses, or to have access to earning money legitimately that you can do over time, you won't get your ass in trouble with, you would have to have different background checks. You would have to be a member of the status quo. The status quo is kind of like, it's like a broad swarm of locusts over a field, over a country, over a nation, over a hemisphere, over a globe. But they cooperate and act in unison. So it's a much more formidable blight of locusts that also organize around self-intergroup locust activity. That's like your status quo. So your ass is out of the status quo. Locusts are a problem for you individually, but also collectively, because like here's some bullshit between a member, someone who thinks like and subscribes to and benefits with the locust mindset activity, having a problem with someone else who does not. Here go another person that also think like the locust type activity, understanding the problem. Yeah, this and that got to say this and that, but we're going with the locust. So it's like a collective boycott cohesion that is very punishing and damning to anything or anyone outside of it and within it, because it's also not congruent and unethical. So it's a problem both for members of it, but also non-members both. But what's significant is just that this us versus y'all, in group versus out group, status quo versus anyone else. So like an example of that, so I'm in a public area right now, and I was needing help to tie off my hair like that, because it can be difficult. Like it's one thing to tie your hair off with like a band, but it's a little bit more difficult if you have no other support, and it's and you're ad-libbing how you're gonna tie your hair off. So you have some people walking by, and I asked like a group of ladies like, hey, is there anyone that can borrow one of y'all to tie something? Hey man, fuck you, man. We're going over there to waste our money down the block, and we don't got time for your motherfucking bullshit, motherfucker, with your motherfucking pink ass, motherfucking, whatever the fuck that is that you want my help. No, man, fuck me. No, fuck. No, I didn't say nothing about fuck anybody, but man, you want help? Fuck you, man. We're going to stuff our face right now, motherfucker, and you can't stop us, motherfucker, and we don't know you, motherfucker. There's that response. But it's all good, man, because as far as I know, you would probably think that I'm as sketchy as I think you would think I am looking at me, but I actually think you are more so of sketchy, because I'm more so just writing music and about to go do some ethical deliveries. But then another person walked by, another lady. And again, you can just, some people they don't have to say too much, and you can tell they describe to the status quo. Hey man, is there any way I could borrow you to help me tie this off? Hey man, fuck you. I'm talking to my mom right now. Fuck you, motherfucker. But you can imagine that when she would be talking to her mom. Now I'm a man. She don't know me from nobody, so nobody owe me shit. And I don't mean to be egregious, but what I'm saying is that here go a regular person. I don't mean nothing against no one. I actually legitimately needed someone. Hey, can you help me tie this thing around my head real quick? Because it's kind of hard when you only got two arms and you can't reach behind your back. And nah, man, fuck you, man, because I'm talking to my mom right now. But that's her prerogative. But I would imagine that when she's talking to her mom, before she left, or even while her mom's on the phone, you be careful now, honey. So when someone says, be careful, have a good night, stay safe, y'all get home, what they're saying is, don't fuck with no one that seems like they're not part of the status quo. Don't fuck off with nobody outside of the in-group. Stay your ass over here with the in-group status quo, and you'll be all right like that. That's what you're saying. So be careful now. So it's like, so like a lot of people that are part of a group, like you say what's up, whatever your solidarity when you first greet, and then when you're about to bounce, like, hey man, what's up? Put it right there. That's what it's about, because you're saying that when you go off over there, remember that you're part of this thing over here that got your back, but also thinking like you got this thing over here that got your back, got you okay over there. So when people are mostly saying, have a good night, they're saying, y'all go on now, but y'all stay down with this status quo thing. Because when someone says have a good something, or be careful, or this and that, what they're saying is, they're saying intergroup status quo solidarity, in-group versus S-group. People that seem like they do regular things for work versus people who seem like they don't. People who seem like they're busy because they got regular things to do for work, and people that seem like they're less busy because they would seem like they do less of regular work. But a lot of work is punitive. They scrutinize you to get into jobs, they scrutinize you after jobs, and then they do a lot of silly things in jobs that make it hard to keep jobs, even as you're doing the best you can, as you're giving it by the book and not to make it and not. It's just simply very difficult in a lot of jobs. But you think about it, and it's like so like you got a lot of these things like a bus or something, right? It's like they need that shit, man. They need that $1, that $2, whatever it is to get you on there. Or you go to like an accommodation, like a hotel, whatnot. They need that money and shit, right? It's expensive and shit, right? Because it's like $70 to $100 for a stay, and another $100 for a deposit, right? But what they're more so doing is, first of all, the jobs are difficult and shit to stay healthy in the jobs, mentally, emotionally, and physically. But then on top of that, it's only so likely that a person that wouldn't think like the status quo will stay their ass around something that has something to do with the status quo. So what I'm saying is that it's really kicking you the hell out of things, right? So a lot of the money, I think that a lot of money. So we look at money in terms of value, and money is something of value. But I think that what money actually more is more of a sophisticated segregation. That's what I think money is, as we have it in the West, because it's worthless in the first place, right? It's fiat, but it operates as like a mobile, fluid institution. Fluid when it was in cash, very fluid like that, and less traceable and anonymous, but fluid. Now there's been more impetus to make it more digital, but the digital stuff is janky, and there's a lot of discrepancy with compatibility and congruence of identity with that. But the deeper function of money is it's in group preference. So we got money over here. We do the type of shit that brings money. We mess with people that do the type of shit that brings money. The money in itself, the value in itself, is not the value in itself. It's the segregation and the dispensing of opportunity and resources that would be significant. So the money is more so of a bar. It's like a bar. So you would have like a paywall. Nowadays you have like a paywall on the internet to do certain things that are related to the internet. You have like a paywall you have to get past, but it's actually how money is in abroad and has been going back. You try to get up on the bus doesn't necessarily need your worthless fiat. Some people would say that the fiat is associated to tax and like representative value, but it's not. But on a deeper level, it's a paywall. So you get into a bus, that's a paywall. You go to, you need to get like some electricity at a cafe or something like that. You have to pay for something, but it's more of a paywall. Y'all's ass that don't got nothing to do that. Y'all's ass that got things to do that are different than to do with making money or would make you good in places with money. Y'all's ass go on somewhere with that. You need to get on board with the status quo somehow, enough to get money somehow to come in here and be over here. So basically, money is like a status quo thing. It's like a bouncer. It's like a revolving door. That's actually what money is. I'll be one to say that money is a little bit like a revolving door. It is. You're not going to stay into it or out of it, but it makes sure that you do the type of things you have to do to be okay to be somewhere on the goddamn earth in the first place. But to be okay to be somewhere, or to have something, or to do something, or to look like you would be okay, to therefore be okay with other people, it takes the game of money. But it gets away from what's real value and sacrifice. So sometimes you get people upset about that. Like, we recently had the fair here where I'm at, and there's like ostensibly there's some woman that has a brand of treats that makes like over some odd million each time this fair comes through. And like some construction workers would kind of mess up about that, like, damn it, man, I'm busting my ass, and this person put their name on something and they got it like that. But that's an example of how sometimes the actual sacrifice or the value that you're referencing with like representative currency, the currency gets away from it and it can be gamed a little bit, like with things like investing or like Buku.com stuff like blowing up, where sometimes the profit and the cash can get away and not really actually represent what the real value is. It's not independent of value, but it can become arbitrary a little bit. But on a deeper sense, money is like a combination of value and in-group membership. So it's more so of a bouncer to the status quo lifestyle. So you get any manner, like you got any manner of person walking past in the daytime here, you can ostensibly estimate that most of them will exactly think like and talk like and behave like and socialize like and be viable around or to tolerate other people for exactly thinking like the status quo. And more so, like in the past, they would quote like people with like a Valley Girl like attitude, like from California, like as what the status quo sounds like. But I've actually met cooler like actual people from the Valley in California that don't think like that. But the status quo. It sounds a little bit different now. It's very prominent where I'm at in Minnesota, but it's like there's a certain tone that people reach for with the status quo, but it's a little bit awkward because there's things about etiquette in class that are ambivalent, especially in the United States, that haven't been worked out with the etiquette of what's good to go. But I think you still have some traces of the puritanical background of the United States, which is that you have sexual liberation of a lot of lifestyles and professional activity, but you still have a very knee-jerk status quo, punitive, scrutinizing type of culture where if you go in public, normally people are mentally scrutinizing the people around them. If you get them in privacy, they're scrutinizing people around them, family members, coworkers. People are largely scrutinizing people as much as in the past and holding each other to almost as much of a standard as you can imagine the puritanical past. But a lot of that is just how believable are you at being status quo. But the status quo is more important than anything, even the members of the status quo. And that's a lot of what you're showing allegiance to by the different activity you would do, and then the different money that would give you to enjoy the bounty of the status quo. Like, so I would wear this African solidarity emblem for a long time. I'm now wearing the peace version of it. I gave that emblem to someone that I met who seemed like it would look cool on them, but now I rock the peace solidarity, but it's still actually the peace symbol, but it still has the African solidarity colors and symbolism. So the black refers to human beings, which come from at essence. This reality is black, it has like a negative absent color, and so as does light. Like some things exactly overlap. So in this way, light and dark actually exactly overlap because you can't actually describe what dark is and you can't describe what light is. Light disperses and it diffuses, and that same light that would appear green on a foil on fauna, like on a plant, that same light the next foot over, yard over, light lands on the marble, and the marble reveals a different aspect of the light than what the fauna or the plant does. It's actually the same light with the same potential for the same range of spectrum, but the impurities of something reflect off or give contrast to the purity of light, so that light can assume all colors but has no color of its own. Kind of like water has no form of its own, but it takes the form of its container, and light takes the form of what it's reflecting off of, and who would appreciate that. But from that standpoint, like according to Osho, a person who would be blind, heaven forbid, they wouldn't see dark. It would be profound actually like that. It's not dark or light. That's actually the truth. That's the truth actually, not dark or light. Could be anything, but is not yet anything. That's what light is. Um, but so from that standpoint, at essence, that's similar to what the universe would look like, and actually looks like at all times. It's formless. As I'm sitting, is clear as setting sun. The light falls on different things. I have an appearance of it, but the light could change angle or change quality that would make things look completely different. So even my standpoint with the natural light diffusing, that's not actually true to reality in the ultimate sense. It's something different is what it actually is as than what it appears even with the daylight, such that original that origin, it's neither dark nor light. It's actually the complete transcendence of dark and light. But if it had to be one thing, dark would be the closest approximation, and that's actually what a human being is, and what the earth is, and what the universe is, such as the black there. The red is the same blood that unites all of life, and that has also been spilled on behalf of freedom of people who are of the earth and universe. And then the green is the shared bounty. So it's both the bounty of the earth, which is also other people, but especially our collaboration with one another and upon the earth and from the earth and for the earth. That's the actual bounty and inheritance. Anytime you're doing anything of value, you're actually drawing from that. So were I to go to a restaurant here and actually purchase something that's worthwhile, that's worth its weight, that's worth its metal, like some food, that food, I'm actually participating in the bounty of the earth, because both that food, if it's actually real and beneficial, and myself are members of the earth, but we're only viable for being members and upon and attendant of the earth. But that's that shared bounty like that. So anything you would have to enjoy, whether that's respect among people, reciprocity among people, cooperation, collaboration, inspiration, creativity, creation, destruction, and maintenance as it's viable and profitable, or physical food, ideas that have been viable because of the provisions of what's made possible by physical food in the earth. All of that is like the shared bounty in the greatest sense. But what we have in modern reality under feudalism, neocolonialism, neo-Roman Empire, is you have a status quo, which is it's almost like a similar base of surplus and value, but it's heavily guarded, mitigated, and coveted in a way that's not actually true to nature, not true to the game, upon lines of money. And then members of money, they have to give their labor, kind of like you have to pay chores wherever you would reside, you have to do chores there. Such as if you draw bounty from the status quo, you have to give back something to the status quo to be properly under the status quo. You have to participate with it. Such is your time and labor, which is all you have, is most of you have, but it's not necessarily a lot at any one moment, at any one circumstance. It's not necessarily a lot, but it is imminent and constant that you must provide labor, one, time, which is also creativity and strength, two, but also you must pay fealty in the comments that you have, the socializing that you do, which is based on the comments that you make. That all must be under and checked by and reined in by the status quo. Otherwise, you are not viable in the status quo, nor the surplus base of the status quo, which is like a piece of the pie. And you'll be looked at, you'll appear that way after a while, and you'll be treated that way, and you'll be less viable for more of less of the status quo like that. But I just wanted to point out that that's actually what you're reaching for anytime you enjoy anything worthwhile of value in life, is that you're drawing from the bounty of the earth, which is also one another. But when you're participating in the status quo, it's the confiscation of that, the repurposing of that, the re-engineering of that, the bastardization of that, is what is very punitive and exceptional and mitigating like that upon arbitrary lines. But people would think that it's upon value, but it's not necessarily upon value. It's about in-group membership that can be best described as nepotism, whether or not are related as a biological cognate of someone. It's a deep, sophisticated, broad system of networking of nepotism that can also be appreciated as imperialism, chauvinism, gentrification, and the outcomes of that. But you see that exactly if you ask a straightforward, simple question like that, and you get blown off like that. It's because you would appear as though you are not a member of the status quo, the status quo sharing of benefit in resources and entitlement and respect, such as that you are marginal. Try as you may, appear as you may. If you do not appear as though you would jive with the status quo, you are outside of the provisions and the support of the status quo. Even for someone walking by for a second, if I had a different appearance, like I look like a businessman trying to tie my shoe, that I just got out of one of these places doing business, they'd be near about bending over. The three of those ladies that walk by would be bending over to help me tie my shoe, or that other lady would have said, "Hang on, mom, I got to do something real quick." It would help me tie my shoe as a person that would seem like a member of the status quo. That's not the way that I appear right now. It doesn't take too much to infer that with my location and where I'm at, the time of day. So, but when people are more saying, "Be safe," be careful now. Y'all get home. Stay on point, even stay dangerous, stuff like that. That's really saying is that stay up with the status quo and don't mess with nobody outside the status quo, and we'll be all right like that. Because our ass is the status quo. We'll be all right if we stick together like that. So y'all be safe now. Watch out for them marginal people now that are probably actually more honest and thoroughgoing than your other compatriots in the safe stuff. Because it's funny, like a lot of people in the status quo, they think it's all good to go with the status quo. But what happens when the status quo has a problem with the status quo? Then everybody's like on that kumbaya stuff, that righteous stuff. But it'll probably only be people that are believable in that. So you have the greats, the haves and the have-nots, even of the righteous stuff, the revolutionary stuff. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Yeah, but that what is okay to say that he's cool like that, he's a rock star like that. I'm saying over here, get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Hey, fuck you, man, because you're not part of the status quo or the really cool status quo part of the revolutionary part either. You're not none of that. So fuck you, man. So that's what people are thinking in their head, man. I'm out with this one. One live.